Hello, my name's Luke, and today I'm going to try and build a geodesic dome. I want to build one for my garden so we can use it as a trellis. I'd like to build it out of scrap materials or stuff that we have on the land and basically not spend any money on it. So I've decided to use, I've got some of these cannash similar to bamboo. I don't think I have enough, so I also have these sunflower stems from last year's harvest. I've already tried to build one a couple of days ago, and I thought I could tie them together with gardening wire, but it was a complete fail and it all fell apart. Now the dome size is determined by your struts basically, and since I've already cut all these up for my first attempt and I had to trim off the edges where they broke, I've got what I got. So my longest one is 58.5 centimeters. Hello. Oh my goodness, what a nice girl. Hello, what are you doing here under the tree? You're a good girl. Sit down, Poopa. Sit. Good girl. I've got a bunch of this hose pipe, offcuts from before we installed our irrigation system. So I plan to just PVA glue them like that, drill a hole and cut off the end. So then I'll have two connecting points on each side. So now I just need to go online, find one of these dome calculators and get all the information regarding how many struts I need and how long they have to be. Okay, so there's a lot of different dome calculators on the net, and this is by far my favorite, domerama.com. I'll put the link in the description. Just go onto calculators, choose the dome you want. I'm going to go with the 3 frequency dome. Okay, and here's the different types of 3 frequency ones. You've got a 3/8, a 5/8, a 4/9, 5/9. I'm going to go with this one, the Krushki method, which is flat at the base. So it's a 3 frequency 4/9 dome. Go with that. So your dome size is going to be determined by your struts. Now the longest piece of cane that I have is 58.5 centimeters. So if you're using inches, don't forget it's decimal. It gives you all the information anyway. You can just go through it, click calculate, and these are my strut sizes. So I've already cut these. 30. I'm going to go to one closest first decimal point, so 43.7, 50.7, 55.9 and 58.5. Now as you can see here, it says if you connect struts together with bolts, the distance between hole centers must be equal to the strut length. Now once I add on the hose to the end of my canes, I have to leave enough space between the center of the hole and the end of the cane for the hose to actually bend. So I'm going to leave 2 centimeters on each side of the cane for space for it to bend, and once you have like 6 connected together, you need a bit of space so the canes don't actually touch each other. So I'm going to cut these at these sizes. I'll clear the values here. But then once I add on the hose, the distance between the 2 holes is going to be 62.5. So I click calculate, and when I add on the hose on all the others, the distance between the holes will be these values here. Now over here it'll give you all the other information. So you've got the radius is going to be 141, diameter, so it's going to be a 283 diameter dome. Height is 115. Okay, and over here you've got the assembly diagram once you've got everything done, which I'll definitely be using because it really does get a bit confusing, I think. And there you go. So you just repeat the same pattern 5 times here, it says. And over here you've got the first ones you're going to lay out. So it's pretty straightforward. This is really important if you're making one out of like conduit or wood or whatever. You have to bend the ends of the steel or whatever you're doing to a certain degree. So we're going to avoid all that because I'm going to be using hose. Okay, so let's get on with putting the hose onto the canes. All you need for this are your struts. Whatever you're using, I'm using cane like I said, and the sunflower stems, some hose, a knife, scissors, a pen, measuring tape, some PVA glue, a stick or a brush, and your drill. So
Once you get your longest ones, because they're going to determine the size of all the others. Now, if like me you're limited in the amount of materials you have, in this case canes, and you find that some of them are just a bit too thick to stick into the hose pipe, what I do is I just grab the knife, break out this piece, or you can even do two and break them out, and keep these, I'll show you what for later, and then you'll be able to squash it and put it in, obviously. So just a bit of PVA glue like that, hose pipe, and you might get your hands dirty, so if you want to wear gloves, wear gloves. It doesn't really bother me, but it's quite pleasing to peel it off when it's dry. But anyway, okay, so then once you've done that, grab your pen, feel where the cane ends, and just mark it there. Now we're giving a 2 centimeter space from the end of the cane to the hole, so just mark up that. 1, 2, and put an X, and just drill that out. There you go. Cut off the end, leave about the same space on one side as there is from the end of the cane. No need to measure it. Then this one looks okay. Just a bit of that. Stick it in. Yeah. Okay. So now you're gonna give it another 2 centimeters. So that's the end. That's the end of the cane. Another 2 centimeters. There, and then line it up with this hole somewhere there, line it up with that one, so somewhere there, cut it out, and cut it off. Okay. Now what you're going to do is, if this is your first one obviously, and your longest, which is the D strut in my case, just measure, actually the best thing to do is mark that hole, and mark the center of that hole. So the strut length, you have to re-input your strut length so you know the sizes of the others. So just measure that. So this is going to be your new strut length. So now I go back online, put in my strut length, and it'll give me the lengths of all the others. So once I've got one of each of the strut lengths, I use the first one to do the rest. So here's my next one. This one is a bit too thin, but I'm limited in materials like I told you. So this is where you use the pieces you broke off there just to wedge them in and make it a bit tighter, so you don't have to end up with more hose than cane, you know. So put that in, and then mark off where the cane is, and then I just line it up with this one. Makes it much easier. Mark the hole, drill it out. Cut it off. Then the next one. This looks small as well, so put that on. Don't have to mark that. Then line it up with your first one. The holes. Okay. And it's somewhere there. And then line up there. it off. Okay, that's 2. So in my case I've got 120 to do. So that's probably going to take me all day. We'll see how it goes. I finally finished all 120 strats. Just make sure you mark each one with a letter or number so it doesn't get confusing when assembling. These are 40mm bolts, which I already had, but I ended up having to buy 80mm ones that cost me about €10. I needed 46 nuts and bolts and 92 washers. Unfortunately, I somehow lost the first part of this time lapse, but if you follow the assembly chart on domerama.com you should be fine. When bolting the struts together, don't totally tighten them up until it's fully assembled. Once this stone breaks, I'll try and get my hands on some more canes and build a bigger one which I can cover with plastic or netting so I can use it as a greenhouse / shade house. So I'll definitely be reusing those bolts. Building this was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two. If you did, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell. Take it easy and see you next time.